So, this is a list of the top 5 things that I wish that I knew when I was first getting started as a voiceover artist about 5 years ago. Let's just dive straight in. Number 1, you shouldn't be doing this alone. When I first got started, it was at the height of COVID, and I didn't think that I had anything to offer anybody. So I didn't seek mentorship. I didn't go on any online services. I just signed up for every single online platform that you could possibly imagine, and I just started recording. I was on VoiceBunny, I was on Upwork, I was on Fiverr, I was on everything imaginable just looking for validation in people giving me money for my voiceover services. I was practicing every day and doing all of that. But even though I made money, even though I earned, even though I got good reviews, the one thing that it didn't do was actually meaningfully push forward my career in any capacity. I wasn't on a national commercial spot. I wasn't doing any animation or video games. And it's for one very specific reason. I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't have anybody who was in the industry actually pushing me forward and actually teaching me the things that I did not know. So, how do we actually go about remedying this? I'm not just going to give you things to do. I'm going to tell you how to fix it. You should be looking for online platforms and actively seeking people who are above you in the field to work and help you. Now, you're going to be kind of green. You're not going to know what you're doing, but you should be not going at this alone. There are places like actors.skillshub.com, like Real Voice LA, like Closing Credits, like reaching out to mentors, people who you know who are in the spaces. I found my mentor, Everett Oliver, wonderful mentor. Lisa Lee, absolutely incredible mentor. These people want to help you succeed and push you forward. They want to help give you a leg up. So, don't do this alone, because it wasn't until I started getting mentorship that I actually put myself in a position where I could land my agent. I absolutely love being rep by Eris Talent, where I could actually become SAG eligible, which I am now able to join the union. And all of this happened within a year of finding mentorship, because they're able to teach you the things that you don't know so you can actually learn how to become a member of this community. That's number 1. Number 2, this is something that you need to be practicing every day. And number 3 kind of contradicts that, but let's stick with number 2 for right now. What do I mean by that? I don't mean that you should be figuring out dedicated exercises every single day. I mean, you should be treating this like a musician, like a math class, like school, like anything else that you want to do. And voice acting has a lot of different aspects and different skills. So you break it down like a skill tree in a video game, and you go over it every single day. Every day, I cold read a script, or I cold read a section from a book. I record myself and I listen to it played back. I don't necessarily put it anywhere, but I know that it's there so I can hear what it actually actively sounds like. That's number 1. Number 2, I might go through a script or go through a poem, and I might do script analysis. So I look and try and see, well, what is it trying to say? Number 3, I will look through a script and I will go, okay, let me try and read this conversationally. Let me try and read this with authoritatively. Let me try and read this with wisdom. Let me try and read this guy next door. All of these things that you learn are what everybody is asking for. You need to learn and practice daily. Now, this might only take an hour and a half, 2 hours of your time. But when a script comes through and it's like, I need you to do this in the next hour, can you get it done? You will be able to do it. You'll be able to do it cold, and you'll be able to do it confidently because you have practiced those skills. That's number 2. Number 3, this one is counterintuitive to number 2, but it is very important. What do all of the best actors and actresses have in common? Acting is the least important thing that they do. What do I mean by that? Creativity can actually be calculated, so to speak. Of course, creativity is innately human, and our skills and our passions are innately human. But creativity in and of itself is actually the combination of things that don't have a link, that you use your personality, your experiences, your heart, your mind, your life, and you connect those two things together. For example, Salvador Dali's piece where it's the clocks that are melting, absolutely beautiful. That was not from his own mind. It came from the inspiration of seeing camembert cheese melting out in the hot sun. And that is what inspired the melting of the clocks in that beautiful painting. All of these things come from inspirational sources that are not connected, but we find that connection point and create that connectivity. How does this go back to acting being the least important thing that you do? Acting is your skill, but the thing that connects you to that skill is your life. The books that you read, the shows that you watch, the movies that you view, the music that you listen to, the places that you live and explore, the vacations that you take, the conversations that you overhear, the food that you eat, all of these things inform your acting decisions. The strongest roles that I've ever done always seem to come from when I take the time to research not specifically how am I going to say this, or what's the cadence of my voice, or what are the beats going to be, but what connection can be brought from outside of this world into this role. For example, quick aside, if you go and watch The Comic Shop, beautiful show that I did, I had the wonderful opportunity to do it while I was out in Los Angeles. I am in episode 6, and I play a character called Marcus, and he's supposed to be a street tough that comes in and he tries to scalp or sell comics, right? I did a lot of research into what it means to have lived in New York at that time and be one of the people in New York trying to sell bags and knock off counterfeit goods out on the street. What are their mannerisms? How do they try and slide into a conversation? All of that stuff informed the character. So when it came time to actually shoot, I was not thinking, how am I going to say this? I was not thinking, how am I going to interact here? It was me just living in that life that I created for the character of Marcus. Yes, I still read the lines. Yes, we still did the actions. Yes, it was still with input from the director. But the creation of the performance was not from me and me alone. It was from inspiration that I drew outside of myself. So live a full life outside of just acting, and you will see how incredibly fast you can actually start to do the job and the work of an actor. That's number 3. Number 4, we already said that you shouldn't be doing this alone, but you should be your biggest advocator. What do I mean by that? It is going to be you who puts yourself in the position to have these conversations with people who can push you forward and push you ahead, right? When I met my agent, Michaela, I went to it wasn't an agent night, it was an agent, well, I guess technically, it was an agent night where she was coming and teaching, and you could showcase animation and commercial copy. I wasn't invited to this. I saw an ad for it. I said, I'm gonna go. I was nervous as hell. I've never been to this studio. I met Michaela one time before that, so there was a little bit of knowledge of who she was, you know. We jived, we spoke before that, and I knew our personalities were compatible. But I pushed myself to go to this thing. Nobody told me, nobody held my hand, because as a voice actor, you are a business owner. The product is your voice. You are pitching and selling your services to create a creative product for the end client. So it is your job to put yourself forward. Networking is terrifying and it's really hard. And we think that as actors, if we get an agent, they will do all of that for us. But that's not entirely true. We still have to put ourselves in a position where we meet that person, where we make that full creative life cycle, where we know that person and they want to call us back. Trust me, as a creative industry, this is one of the people that you know. And that, at the end of the day, is it. If you do a good job, and you're 100% pleasant, and you do a 90% good job, and they know someone who does a 100% good job, but they're 80% pleasant, chances are they will call you back. Now, if this is something creative, you know, it might be a little bit different if they need a different type of voice. But for the things that are like commercial, for the internal projects, I get called back all the time for these steady $200, $200, $200, $200 gigs. Are they fun? No. Is the team fun? Hell yeah. Because they like me, I like them. We mesh very well together. That's how this industry works. It's based on who you know and who you actually go out and speak to. So go to networking events like Sovus, like VO Atlanta, like all of these voiceover and all of these actor in general networking conferences. Put yourself out there and go in attendance for. Sign up for scholarships, sign up for awards, sign up for all these things because you are your biggest advocate at the end of the day. That's number 4. And number 5, this is the biggest pill to swallow. This is the one that it took me so long to learn. We are living in 2025, a world where COVID changed everything and we can work from home. I can work from the beauty that is my vocal booth and I don't have to worry about it. But one thing that you need to know is make sure that your technology is rock solid. Source Connect is really finicky. All of these technological advancements are sometimes finicky. And when you drop the ball and let down a client, that is remembered time and time again. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'll give a little tidbit of a story. I was driving, and it was a huge, massive thunderstorm. I mean, it was like world-shattering thunderstorm out in New York, right? I was coming home, and I got a bing. Hey, this client wants to hop on in like an hour. Can you make it? Can you make it? Can you make it? They cared about my safety, which is great. A lot of clients don't give a shit. They cared about my safety, so I was able to make the time and take the time and get back there. But you have to understand that when you're an actor, you're working potentially not with the end client. That's how this pipeline works, and we won't take today, maybe I'll do it later, to go over the entire pipeline because I've worked in video production. You are working for a director who is then working for an end client. If you let that director down, they have to go tell that end client that maybe the project is pushed. And this stuff costs a lot of money to do that. So you have to make sure that you are technically capable and ready. It doesn't matter if there's leaf blowers and people outside, right? You should go outside and ask, hey, would we be able to schedule a time when you can do that at a different time? Or you should know beforehand, because all of these things work together in an ecosystem where you have to make sure that your studio is actually ready. You actually have the microphones that you say you do. You have the recording technology and capability. Your room is actually treated to the best of your ability. If you need soundproofing, you buy a vocal booth. Can your computer actually handle the upload and the download speeds necessary to run Source Connect? Do you have a quiet enough noise floor? All of these things are important for you to know for the technical standpoint of being a voice actor. Because in 2025, we understand that we are our biggest advocate. We're not doing this alone. We practice every single day, and we live a life outside of acting. When you put all of this together, you can become a voice actor in less than a year.